Da, da, da. All right. Da, da, da. All right. All right. I think we're all good to go. Go to the 5-minute chart. Right. Let's see this starting out. See how this 5-minute range holds up. So far, we are in a pretty big range, which is a pretty good sign. All right. I think we're all good to go. Pretty good sign. Now, that being said, one thing I gotta check starting out. All-time highs. We're probably right. See how this 5-minute range holds up. So far, we are probably gonna take out all-time highs. Pretty good sign. All right. I think we're all good to go. Pretty good sign. Now, that being said, when 24,068 is all-time highs. So we got what? 24.0. Dude, we're right there. Holy crap. We're right at all-time highs. Wow. All right. We got 2 more minutes till this next 5-minute candle opens up. We'll see how this works. Let me move to real quick. So next week we should be switching to the next contracts. Oh, man, I thought a sneeze went away. Crap. All right, we got. All right, so here's that 5-minute candle close. Let's see. There we are. The bottom of that 5-minute range. There we are. Bro, I honestly think we're going to go for those all-time highs. Like, we are so freaking close. If this doesn't hit all-time highs, I'd be so surprised. All right, let's see what happens here. We're starting to push below view up. Maybe it wants to take out a liquidity. If we can kind of close below this range, start pushing back into the range to potentially start going for those all-time highs. Bro, my nail. Let's see it. News-wise, let me check news-wise. We do have, yeah, we have red folder at 10 a.m. I don't know why the other says different. Finviz says orange folder. Forex says red folder. So regardless, there's news at 10 a.m. Let's Let's see what happens here. I'm interested in, as of now, right? I'm interested in longs. I like the longs. If we can get a setup. Now, sweeping some liquidity right now. Can we get a setup though? See if we can push back into the range, kind of confirm. So just swept liquidity. Now, what I'm looking for, right, is a push back into the range, leaving a bullish gap, right? So then could potentially target those highs up there. We're dancing like right below view up. Right below view up, so we need to start. Surprised we didn't, man, we came so, look how close we came to all-time highs. Could you just buy now until it goes back up? I mean, you can, but it's not a good idea. Look what would be happening. You'd be losing money right now. Alright. Yeah, so we had up there, we had all-time highs right here. Right above that 5-minute range is all-time highs. Where's this thing going? NASDAQ, where are you going? What are you doing? What are you? Don't leave me. So if we could start, right, I need to confirm that we want to start going back up, right? So I needed to start pushing above. View op is pretty much right where I have that low of that 5-minute range right there is where view op is. So I pretty much want price to start pushing above, leave a bullish gap right above view op to potentially take a long off of. And that kind of gives me a little bit of confirmation that, you know, it wants to start going back up. So, did you get in? No, I'm not in at all yet. I'm not in at all. I'm waiting. I need confirmation. I'm not jumping in just because it's going up right now. I need confirmation. When will I get that confirmation? I don't know. But I'll wait for it. We got news at 10 a.m., so got to be careful for the news. You know, it's like if I have a setup before news, and you know, if I'm in a trade, I'll just make sure I have my stops in place and everything. But looking like it's kind of wanting to start to, you know, push up. We're still below view op though. Until we get above view op, then we can start thinking. Sorry, I'm trying to. I don't know why this thing is. All right, now if let's look at some other time frames. Oh, no. No, I didn't take any. I'm not in any position yet. And what you notice now is, right? Look at this. Look what's happening now. If this 5-minute candle is about to close when? Like in a couple minutes? Right? So this one was 40. This is 45. So about 50. Wait. 30, 35, 40. Yeah, 50. I don't know why I'm... So... No, in a couple minutes. New 5-minute candle is going to open up. And then we may have a gap on a 5-minute chart. So that could give even extra confirmation if we have this bearish gap that also gets inversed. Never mind, it just filled the gap. It just filled it. So we do have a gap up here. I can try to maybe draw out. Let me try to draw it. There's a very tiny gap on the 5-minute chart. Let me see, 2-minute chart. Uh, 15-minute chart. Pretty bullish, right? I think we could want to go for those highs, to be honest with you. 30-minute chart. See, and hourly chart. Let's see what's going on. Yeah, we've been kind of sideways in pre-market, but all right, starting to get that move back into that 5-minute range. Let's see what happens here. Are we going to leave behind a gap? Now, if price starts to leave behind a bullish gap, I will be interested in a long. Now, liquidity target, here's the difficult part. Depending on where I get in and the risk to reward, may have to go for these highs. I don't know if I'm going to go for the all-time highs, but it depends on where I get in. If the good risk to reward ratio and I could just take it to these highs, I'll be fine with that. Tiny gap forming here. All right, make sure we're on. Start to kind of see if... Too early to say, but... 20... Say 50... Trying to do the math. I'm trying to do the math already on these contracts. What I... It depends. If we still get this gap, 10 seconds left. Let's see. It's a very tiny gap, so I do have to be careful, but I don't know why I make him so long. Alright, I'm going to start to kind of see if I can get filled here. Alright, I got my order in. See if I can get filled here. The idea is, right, we pushed out of this 5-minute range. Starting to, we closed out of the 5-minute range, starting to close back inside it with a bullish gap forming. So I'm looking to now. I'm looking to potentially take a long for these these body candle highs up here, which would be just like a 1-to-1 ratio if I can get filled on this trade. If this thing doesn't run without me like it did yesterday. If you're in the live yesterday, it started to just completely just run without me. Left me behind. So I'm hoping I can get filled. Please fill me. Let me get in. If you want to make money, go short. Well, I'm good. You can go short if you want to. Go short. It's up to you. This is not financial advice. Don't copy me. Trade your own strategy. Wow, it didn't fill me. It came so close to filling me. Trade your own strategy. Do not copy me. Because you will get wrecked. Come on, fill me. Oh my goodness. Bro! Why is my entry like I'm freaking repellent? Alright. I'm in. Let me check real quick. Make sure I'm in every position. Alright, I'm in every trade, so. Target for me would be these body candle highs up here. See what happens. Stop, obviously below the lows is what it is. So stop market. See what happens. We're right at view op, so right at view op. We need to get this bounce from view op. There we go. Starting to get that bounce. See if we can start ripping up past these highs. Buyers starting to come in. We need to start pushing above those highs, above the 200. Looking good so far. We need the momentum to keep going. Come on. Come on. Oh, do not reject. No, NASDAQ. No. We got a big wick on the 15-minute time frame, so. Oh, man. So, right, the idea for me behind this trade, we broke out of this 5-minute range, pushed back into it, leaving a bullish gap. So, back into this range, I'm hoping that price could go for these next liquidity up there. But not looking good so far. We're starting to reject pretty heavy. Come on, NASDAQ. All-time highs. All right, starting to get, wow, a lot of buying pressure stepping in. A lot of buying pressure just stepped in. There you go. How did it not close above? Close back inside this range. I said before I took the trade, if we close back inside the 5-minute range, leaving behind a bullish gap, that's going to be my entry. I literally said that before it happened. So, all right, they're closing back into the range. We're above the view op. We got to start ripping. Got to start pushing. The only thing is news. I'm hoping this thing doesn't chop sideways right before news. Hopefully this thing gets me out. 9 minutes till news. I'm hoping I get out of this trade before news. I do not want to hold with news. Man, this thing is really just toying with view op. Like, pushing right below it, ripping right above it. You gotta hold view op. You gotta hold view op. Come on, NASDAQ. Oh my gosh. We got news at 10 a.m. Yeah, red folder news at 10. Trading before news is insane. Well, I have my setup happened. I mean, I'm not gonna just not get into the trade because news is in 10 minutes. I mean, I'm gonna get into the trade. If it's my strategy, I'm gonna get in. Yeah, this thing, the only thing, yeah, I mean, it is hard right before news because sometimes it chops before news. So if news comes out, right, if it wants to go up, news a lot of times will propel it to that direction that it wants to go. So could be very likely just chopping before news, and then news comes out and this thing shoots to the upside when news comes out. I'm hoping it doesn't stop me out before news. But we got wicks to the upside. It looks like it wants to go up. I'm just hoping it doesn't, you know, sweep these lows before it goes up. We're kind of just chopping view up. We need to start ripping up. Kind of volatile price action. I don't like that. I don't like when it's bouncing up and down like that. Come on. Get me out of this before news. Come on, NASDAQ. We're above VWAP now again. Above VWAP. Gotta start pushing the highs. Rip it. Rip it. Oh, come on, NASDAQ. Made $1,000 on 10,000 yesterday thanks to news. Yeah, be careful. News can help you, but it can also screw you up really badly if you're not careful. I trade my strategy. If there's 10 minutes till news and I get a setup, I mean, I'm gonna take the setup. I mean, it is like, you know. This thing may be waiting for news. Freaking A. Ugh. I hate news. Yes, NASDAQ futures. Price is, it's waiting for news. Yeah, don't take advice from people how to invest your money. Nobody's gonna tell you the right answer. All right, rip it. Rip it! Rip it! Yes! Keep it going, NASDAQ! They got news mostly every day. How are we supposed to trade? Yeah, exactly. Like, if I'm not gonna get into a trade just because of news, then I'm never gonna take a trade. It's just like, oh man, news. News is coming out. I'm not gonna take a trade. If it's my strategy, I'm gonna take the trade. Come on, take it out. There you go. There you go. There you go. Oh, come on, we're so close. We are so close. We're gonna hit it. We're gonna hit it. We're gonna hit it. Oh, news hasn't even come out yet. Holy, I thought news came out. Holy. If that was the candle before news, what the heck is gonna happen when news comes out? We got like 4 minutes till news. Or did news come out early for some people? Some people are getting the news early. That's what's happening. I should. Yeah, stop loss goes break even. Break even stop at this point. If this thing rips back down, I don't want to be in it anymore. So it's a risk-free trade at this point. Either it hits a TP or I get stopped out break even. It came that close to my stop. I mean, my TP. I can't risk it going back down. So hopefully news doesn't wick me out of this and ends up filling me. But it looks like we're going to get filled. There we go. Oh my gosh. You kidding me? You're so close. Bro! What? 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 Oh my gosh. Bro, when's news? 3 minutes till news. Wild, dude. This thing better not stop me out at break even. Come on. We got a bullish gap here too that just formed. Another bullish gap. Oh my gosh. This is wild. I may get stopped out break even. Alright, we gotta bounce off this bullish gap. Two minutes till news. 2 minutes. Oh, I'm so pissed that didn't hit my TP. Bro, like 1 tick away. What? Come on. Part of trading. Part of trading. That sucks, dude. That freaking sucks. All right, we're 24026. 24026. Is that right below view up? Oh man, that's right. Crap, that's right at view up. There's a very high likelihood if this thing stops me out break even, it ends up stopping me out break even and ripping. All right, we're good. We're good. We're good. Thank you. I just wanted to fill that imbalance. Oh man, 1 minute till 30 seconds till news. 30 seconds. 30 seconds. Oh my gosh. Rip it. Rip it. 15 seconds. 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh no! What the heck? Break even stop, you bastards. Oh, that slippage hurt me really bad. Crap. You freaking dumb spam callers. I'm gonna... Oh my gosh. Bro, that slippage hurt me. Oh, I better cancel my order there. Oh, I shouldn't have had my stop at break even. Bro, that sucks. Ugh. I got slipped. How am I textbook emotional? I had a plan, whatever. Man, that sucks. It is what it is. Bro, I came so close to my TP. Oh my gosh. I should have kept my stop at the lows if for news. Well, it is what it is. I knew that could happen. I was like, watch, news is gonna come out, it's gonna wick me out, and it's gonna rip. And it's gonna hit my TP right now. was a good trade. I mean, the trade worked out. It's still, it's a, well, not yet. Just not quite. It hasn't hit the TP. Oh, just a stop placement. I shouldn't have moved it to break even. Bummer. All right, that's gonna be a new rule for me. If there's news, I'm gonna keep my stop at the lows just because of volatility. If there's no news, I'm gonna move my stop to break even. That's gonna be the new rule for me, because a lot of times during news you get that wick, and yeah, it could stop you out. And still early to say. Maybe the stop was good placement. We'll see. That TP though is like repellent. So close to news. So close to news, don't you think it was wise to close out to TP risk management? Well, that's why I moved my stop to break even. Right? I was managing it by moving it to break even. Which kind of sucks because I got slipped. That's the only part about news. It slipped me. Wow, there's TP. Freaking bastards. Oh my gosh. There would have been full TP right there. Can you believe that? They literally stopped me out. Where was my... Bruh. My entry was right there. My entry was right there. My break even. They literally wicked me out and then ripped it. Oh gosh. Froze the liquidity? Yeah. It looks like I was. Alright, that's gonna be the new rule. Screw that. If there's no news and it comes that close to TP, if there's no news, I'll move it to break even. If there's news, my TP stays at the lows to prevent this kind of crap from happening. Still a good trade. That's a winning trade. Just, I shouldn't have moved my stop to break even, but the trade is still good. It hit full TP. Lesson learned, get out, close the trade. Well, here's the thing. I can't close the trade and then get in up here. That's the problem, right? I got in down here. So what's going to happen if I close the trade early and then I'm going to re-enter up here with horrible risk to reward, and this thing ends up dropping, stopping me out for a big loss, and the risk to reward on that trade automatically just doesn't work. So either there's two scenarios. Either I take the trade before news and kind of manage risk, or I don't take the trade at all, because look, there was no opportunity for me to get back in at that area. I mean, I could have had it right, you know, a limit order in right before news, but how does that make the situation any different? And the news came out, and I'm not taking an entry all the way up here. That's just as dumb. There's that, the risk to reward on that is completely... No, get out. The trade was good. It's not like this was a bad... It's not like it was a losing trade. Trade was good. My stop was at break even. It's not like, you know... It's not like I lost a bunch of money. I just got slipped just a little bit. But the trade was good. I would still take that. I would take that trade again. The only thing I would do different is keep my stop at the lows. I was about to do it too. I was literally about to. I was thinking about it. I was like, maybe I should move my stop to the lows because we have a gap right there, and I was worried that price is gonna wick me. It is what it is. It was a good trade though. I don't regret it. I've been trading full-time for about 2 years, but I've been learning about it way before that, too. Trade was perfect. It was just news. News candle always... Yeah. I don't know what to do. I mean, there is... Yeah, so far that's the thing that I've noticed is keep it at the lows, because I've traded news before. This isn't the first time I've traded news, and I've had times where it comes very close to stopping me out. But if I keep my stop at a place that makes sense, like at a real invalidation point, and allow for that volatility, a lot of times it still pushes for that level that, you know, you're targeting, that it wants to go to. That's the thing about news, right? You get the volatility in between, but price ends up going to the direction that it was originally wanting to go. So if you'll notice, right before news, price kind of moves sideways. And then right before news comes out, sometimes it starts to move toward a certain direction, and the news really propels it toward that direction. You may get some wickiness in between, but in general, it'll move right to that direction, which, as you see, it did. It just sucks because you get that volatility in between. But like I said, yeah, I'm not taking a trade just because of news. If I did that, like, when would I ever take a trade? We literally have 10 a.m. news most days. We have some sort of news at 10 a.m. So I would just be sitting here all week not taking a trade if I did that. Let me check real quick. All right. Trying to find it. I think it's 50. It looks like it's 50%. Oh crap. Oh, dang it. Yeah, for 50K evaluation account, consistency rule states that most for take profit trader, most profitable day cannot exceed 50% of your total profits during evaluation period. So a single day cannot exceed 50% of your total profits, which is a good rule. It's not a bad rule. It makes sense. I think we're going for all-time highs. I think it's hilarious. I think that's... Oh, gosh. Yeah, no problem. I think it's going for those highs. We're ripping right to the top of that 5-minute range. The highs are right, all-time highs are right there, so this could be a day where we just rip up for the rest of the... So the license sold at the bottom. Oh, price? Yeah. When I moved, my entry was right here. Where my cursor is. Here, I'll move it up. Yeah, my entry was right there. So when price moved, was like super close to my take profit, and it started dropping without filling me, then I moved my stop to break even, which was right there. Right where my cursor is. So yeah, it pretty much, it slipped me just a little bit and then ripped. So pretty much a break even. I mean, it's a break even trade. It slipped me just a tiny bit, but it wasn't enough to like really make a difference. Yeah, that's the life of a day trader. You live and you learn. So that's the important part, right? You want to learn from your mistakes. So, like I said, one thing I take away from that mistake is when I have news, stop does not go to break even. Stop keeps it at the lows. If there was no news, stop goes to break even because I don't have to worry about that volatility. So, yeah, who's the person that said it was gonna drop? That if you want to make money short, where is that person? Down 500 right now. Hopefully I make it back today. Yeah, be careful, man. Have a plan. That's the thing about trading. You never want to get in a mindset in trading where you're holding a trade and going, oh my gosh, I hope it comes back down. I hope it comes back down. You got to have a plan. You got to have an invalidation point and stick to that plan. And then you can like, yeah, I get emotional during, you see, the thing about me and like different traders, yeah, I get emotional during my trades, whatever, you know, but I don't let my emotions dictate my trading. I had a plan and I had a stop loss or a break even. So a stop loss and a take profit. And yeah, I was emotional, but I allowed it to play out. I'm not canceling my stop order because it's coming close to my stop order and I don't want to take a loss. And notice, look at what happened. My TP was right there. It hit my TP and now it's reversing. So that's why I say, why don't I really like having a take profit above wick highs like this? This is the precise reason why I had my stop where I had my stop, right? It was a good risk to reward based on where I got in. And the other reason, right, I don't like to have my stop above highs because just based on me sitting in the market and me trading and looking at how price action moves and based on my strategy, what I've noticed a lot of times is price sometimes doesn't take the wick high. So, hold on, is that just me? No, my phone. So sometimes price doesn't take the wick high, but it'll take out the body high candles and then start moving in the other direction. So that's why I had my take profit there at the body high candles, not the wick high candles. Bruh. That was fun. You can't admit that wasn't fun. I mean, you can't say that wasn't fun. Is your stop loss always at the same or discretionary? No, my stop loss always is based on price structure. That's why I had my stop. My original stop was below the lows right here. That was my original stop, right? Because if price comes back down and takes out these lows, it pretty much invalidates the trade. So stop was below the lows. And then TP was obviously body candle highs. But like you've seen if you were here, sometimes I do move my stop because price, my TP was right there. So you see how close price came to my TP? That's initially why I moved my stop to break even, because if it comes that close, but because of news ended up stopping me out. So, like I said, that's the thing I'm going to be changing from now on. Stop stays at, before news, stop stays at the lows. If there's no news, I move it to break even. But yeah, no, stops should not be discretionary. Stops should be, you should have a plan for your stops and for it to make sense. And not have a stop just because of, oh, I want to risk, I want to risk $50, but I want to make $400. Okay. It doesn't matter what you want. You got to trade what the market's giving you, not what you want. What percentage of your account were you risking on this trade? So I was risking $400. That was a $400 risk. So that's $400 risk across 7 accounts. But obviously on this trade I did not lose 400 bucks because I had my stop at break even. But one thing you gotta be careful with, right, is with these prop firm accounts, they have, a lot of them have trailing drawdown, right? So for example, if my account was at, meaning all-time highs, like if I was at the all-time highs of my account, meaning I'm not in any kind of drawdown, that would have been a trailing drawdown. So if I had my stop at break even, that drawdown trailed. That counted as if, as price went up, my account went up, and then as price went down, my account level, my drawdown stayed. So that's one thing you've got to be careful with prop firm accounts, is the trailing drawdown. Now, obviously, if you're like a little bit in drawdown, your drawdown can't trail because you're not at the all-time highs of your account. So you cooked your... No, I didn't. I didn't cook my... How did I cook my account? My stop was at break even. My account's still up. My account is up. It's not like I'm in the red on my account. I'm taking, you know, it's... I'm being patient. Are you in the buffer though? No. What do you mean by buffer? You mean like... I had one, in the beginning of the week, I had one losing trade. In the beginning of the week. And then I had a couple trades this week that just, they were good trades, they worked out, they just never filled me. Price ran without me. So, like, I got a bunch of setups this week, right? One losing trade. I got a bunch of setups. Every other trade was a winning trade. There was one losing trade in the week. Every other trade was a winning trade. Some trades ran without me, but they're still winning trades. They just never filled me for the entry I wanted. But it ended up hitting my TP. Just never got the entry I wanted, so... No, oh, cushion, buff... No, I'm not, like, all-time highs on my account. No, I'm meaning, like... I'm not above the buffer where trailing drawdown stops. I'm not. But still got time, right? I'm just waiting. That week is coming. I'm gonna have a... Just based on my, you know, based on, like, even backtesting, right? Based on backtesting, like, I know that there are weeks where your strategy just works slow. You know, maybe you have, like, one winning trade, a couple winning trades. You're kind of a break-even week. That's gonna happen. And then there are weeks where you're just, like, winning trade after winning trade after winning trade, and you're just, like, on fire. Because price action is just giving you, day after day, it's giving you the perfect trades. So... Right, there are weeks where you're going to be slow, kind of in the middle, just, and you got to make sure to keep level-headed during those weeks and not go into drawdown, and be patient, because that week is coming when you're going to get into that rhythm, and price is going to give you what you want, and then you start going on that, you know, winning streak. Price is pushing right back up. What time frame are you on? So the levels here are there are 5-minute range levels. 5-minute high, 5-minute low. And then this is just the 1-minute chart. Plenty of time. Yeah, there's no reason to rush. Like, I'm not about to rush, get into drawdown because I'm trying to, you know, take trades, that the market's not giving me get into drawdown because I'm not patient. It's just dumb. It's how people blow up their accounts and then they wonder why they're not profitable, because you're not patient. That's why. You don't have a strategy that you stick to. Everyone's kind of like, can we see your Trade-Evade auto liquidate level? I'm not on Trade-Evade. I don't have Trade-Evade. This is Rhythmic. I don't even know how you look at it. I have to look on the website. The website tells you. Technically, you're in drawdown if you're in buffer. Where my account, these $50,000 accounts, I'm above $50,000. I'm not below 50,000. I'm above. I'm in profit, but I had one losing trade. I'm not crazy, and I'm literally like one trade away from my all-time highs of hitting all-time highs in my account. It's not like I went on some losing streak or something. Like this trade right here, if this trade would have hit TP, I would have been on all-time highs. So technically, actually, yeah, I would have been on all-time highs on my account if this would have hit TP. But we went for, there's all-time highs. So we just hit all-time highs. Man, bummer. How long are you trading session usually? Usually I try to stop at 11. 11 o'clock, because price moves kind of sideways after 11. And unless I'm looking for a trade and a trade setup is like about to happen, I'll stay on longer. But if I can usually tell if there's something coming up for me or not, close to 11. If I don't see a setup or if price already ran, I'm just gonna call it. Gotta know your all-time high from correction. Yeah, you're trailing. Yeah, you gotta keep track of that. But that's why, like, I'm technically a scalper, right? Like this was a one-to-one trade, so I'm scalping. So typically that doesn't, like, these trailing drawdowns do not hurt me because I'm scalping it. So it's not like I'm trying to let my trade, you know, run for a crazy amount and then stop me out at break even. But it looks like we're gonna rip through all-time highs, and so we're right above that level right now. We got a bullish gap here too, so price is very bullish right now. We could have a little bit of a correction to fill this imbalance, and then before we continue moving up. But I'm too chicken for all of this. Now you just have to have a strategy that you know works. That's it. That's literally a part of trading, is figure out a strategy that you know works and trade that strategy. Don't let your emotions drift away from that strategy. Like, you see the setup, you take it. If it's a winning trade, it's a winning trade. If it's a losing trade, it's a losing trade. And just move on. Like, it's not, you don't have to get emotional about it, or, you know. I mean, you can get emotional, but don't let your emotions control. That's all you could do. Trading is just statistics. That's it. It's literally picking a strategy that you know works and sticking to that strategy and allowing statistics to play out over a long period of time. I mean, there are times where a little bit of discretion can come into the market, right? Like maybe not taking a trade if you're trying to take a long and view op is right above, you know, or the risk to reward. Like maybe you have a setup, your strategy is happening, but the risk to reward is not good, so you just stay out of the trade. Like, there's a little bit of discretion that plays into trading that you got to take into account, but generally, yeah, just stick to your setup. But that discretion comes from you making mistakes. Like just today, right? Today's a perfect example that I learned that I shouldn't move my stop to break even right before news. I don't know anything about Solana or crypto. I trade NASDAQ. 3 to 5 or 6 a quarter. What do you mean by that? 3 to 5 or 60? Next trade, we'll see. I mean, the only thing is, this thing, I personally think this thing is just gonna keep ripping up. I don't know. We'll see, though. I don't know. We'll see. That's why I wait, like, for me to get a trade, I wait for confirmations. And, like, the only thing is, right, I'm not going to take a short, right? Even if price kind of starts to confirm. If price starts to confirm and I get a setup to go short, and this is where I was talking about discretion, right? If I get a setup to go short, why am I not going to go short? Because I learned you do not short all-time highs. Not a good idea. Because price typically, if it's at all-time highs, it's very bullish. So, I've just gotten, personally, I've gotten, you know, messed up a bunch of times trying to short all-time highs, and it doesn't work out for me. So, I try to stay away from shorting all-time highs. But generally, right, you gotta wait for price to pull back and give you the entry that you're looking for based on the risk to reward in that setup. So you're saying if price comes down here, I'm willing to buy. It's a good setup. It's probably going to continue going up. Do not short and do not say long. Simply step back for the day when this is the case. Yeah, I wait for price to confirm, and I can explain how that works for me. Buying pressure straight to no man's land. Yeah, there's a lot of buying pressure right now. All-time highs has a lot of buying pressure. I'm shorting right now. Good luck. I don't think it's a good idea, but I hope you make money, but not a good idea. I wouldn't mess with it much, especially Fridays. Yeah, there's a lot of people exiting. You got to think all-time highs. A lot of people covering, taking profits, maybe getting stopped out of short positions. So a lot of buying pressure in. What do people that get stopped out of short positions? What do you have to do to get stopped out of a short position? You have to buy. So maybe people are buying here because we're all-time highs. People getting stopped out short. So there's a lot of buying pressure sometimes comes in at all-time highs. But what was I gonna say? But yeah, like, so in the beginning, right, when market opens, I have no bias. That's the difference between me and a lot of other traders. A lot of traders get into the market and they have a very specific bias. They're like, you know, I want price to hit. I think price is gonna go to this high. So that every time they get a pullback, they're trying to buy because they think price is gonna go for that high. Me, I'm completely different, right? I wait for price to tell me what it wants to do, right? For it to kind of give you a hint. And exactly why I took this trade, right? I said before, and somebody said down here, is like, if you want to lose money, right? If you want to lose money, go long or whatever, or short. Short is the right play, right? I have no bias in the beginning of the morning. What happened? Price opened up. 930 was right here, right? We got this kind of move up, started dumping. I had no bias. 5-minute candles. 5-minute candle closed. I marked out the high and the low of the first 5-minute candle that closed. So now 5-minute range has been set. 5-minute range. Now, for my trade setup, what I look for, I wait for price to close outside of the 5-minute range. And then for price to push back inside the 5-minute range, forming a bullish gap for my entry to confirm that it wants to go up to the next liquidity point. So, it's exactly what happened here. Price pushed back inside this range, left behind a gap. It's a very tiny gap, but it did leave behind a gap. And also the gap has to be inside that. It has to be inside the 5-minute range. Gap cannot be outside of the 5-minute range. Gap inside this 5-minute range. Price pulled back, right? Confirming that it potentially wants to go for these highs up here. Right? So it pulled back. I entered. And you can see what happened. Price ended up going for those highs. So price gave me a confirmation. And especially here. There was another level of confirmation. We left another bullish gap inside this. So this is kind of telling me that it wants to keep going up. For those highs. So that's what I mean by confirmation. So in general, I don't have a bias until price confirms. Kind of gives me a hint of what it wants to do. Then I do have a bias. Obviously, I have a bias when I get into a trade. But I let price to tell me that bias. And not try to guess just based on, you know. It's simple as that. And we had support down here, right? We had view up. We had the 200. So this was a good level to buy off of. And it did end up working out. But that's why price, being able to read price action and like, you know, price leaving behind imbalances at certain area, like what is, you got to think, what is price doing? Is it going for that, going for a high? Is it just rebalancing? So why didn't you re-enter if your original trade idea stopped, never confirmed the idea not working? So the reason is I didn't re-enter because the risk to reward at that point was not it anymore, right? I entered originally down here. So my entry point was down here. So after I got stopped out, break even, and this thing ended up ripping like immediately. You see this wick, right? This thing stops me out, break even, and then immediately wicks back up here. So if I would have entered, I would have gotten filled way up here. And now you got to think to yourself, yes, do I think it's going for those highs still? Yes, but think to yourself, is the risk to reward worth it at this point? My stop would now have to be at the very bottom here. And even if I take TP at the highs right here, the risk to reward is complete garbage. Right? Let's say that. It would have been a 10, 20 points TP and a 10, 20, 30, 40, 45 point stop. So now you got to ask yourself, is that worth taking the trade even if you are pretty sure that price is probably going up there? A 20 point TP and a 35 point stop is not a good risk to reward. So that's why I waited for price to come down here and it gave me the best risk to reward ratio. Why isn't it going to London Asia lows? I mean, we opened up, first of all, above VWAP, which is a bullish sign in and of itself. We were right where all-time highs is. Make sure you keep track of where all-time highs is. Because when we open up above VWAP, right, we open up that close to all-time highs. Typically, all-time highs is a pretty strong magnet for price. So, as you can see, price did go for those all-time highs. Look at it right now. What do you mean? It's ripping. It's completely just... Oh, you're talking about not going to Asia lows? Yeah, it's all-time highs. I think that's why I mean, for me, that was another extra level of confirmation too for a long setup. All-time highs is right there, so I was like, okay, this thing probably wants to go for those highs. And you gotta see, look at the 15-minute too. Look what happened before it went up. Look at the 15-minute, right? So when I got in right here, look at all these wicks to the downside. It took out this level of liquidity too. So price pulled back, took out all this liquidity down here, and then started ripping back up. Oh. So. And you look at, other levels will give, like higher time frames I was looking at too, all those wicks, that gives me even more confirmation that we have wicks like that where like the stuff is just confirming it that it wants to go up. So now if we look at this, now if we're breaking out of this 5-minute range, right? We're breaking out of it. What did we do when we broke out of this 5-minute range? Look at this. It pushed up, came back to the top of that 5-minute range, and it retested it as support. Now it's continuing to move up. And that's why I mark out the first 5 minutes. That first 5-minute range, there's a lot of volume in that first 5 minutes of market open. A lot of volume comes in. So when price ends up, right, pushing, and that's why my setup is waiting for price to push back into the 5-minute range, because typically when price pushes back in, price doesn't really move sideways in the 5-minute range. You could see it moved a little bit before news, but you could see price typically moves pretty well. And what that means is there's a lot of volume traded inside this 5-minute range. You could see price ripped up, then dropped to the low of that 5-minute range, then ripped right back up to the high of the 5-minute range, then retested the top of that 5-minute range. So you could see it's a very powerful level, that first 5 minutes. Got my target in at 24,100. 100, where's that? Oh, yeah. It's rejecting off that pivot right now. But what session? Yeah, I just trade New York session. New York session, typically like 9:30 to about 11 o'clock I trade for. Sometimes I go for longer, depending on how price is moving that day. Sometimes I'll stay on longer, but if you have a TP, make sure your TP makes sense, like, right? Make sure you have a TP and you know why your TP is there. Like, not just having a TP just because, oh, I want a 1 to 2 risk, or I want a 1 to 3 risk to reward, so I have to have my TP at this level to have a 1 to 3. Make sure you have a TP there because of a specific level, because you want your TP and stop loss to be based off of price structure, not based off of risk to reward or any of that. For a good risk to reward, you gotta wait for price to come to you to give you a risk to reward according to the price structure. Sorry, what? I didn't ignore it. I may have missed it. What was your question? Oh, are you talking to somebody else? Oh, you're talking to somebody else? Here, give me a second. I'll be back in a second. What do you think about Bitcoin? I mean, I don't I've traded crypto before. I've made money with crypto, but I just stick to futures. Everything to an extent helps. Yeah, you gotta have rules. That's the thing, is you gotta have rules and follow those rules and not be a degen trader that just like randomly buys at certain areas. Trust me, that was me. I'm back. Looks like we could be just we could be just on a uptrend. Price could now, right? Price could kind of pull back and try to fill this. There's an imbalance that's left behind here, so it could maybe take out these lows, fill this imbalance before it continues moving up. Yeah, this is like stuff you just learn from trading over time, you know, getting wrecked enough times, and it is what it is. You just learn from your mistakes. That's how you become a better trader. If you can take something from a loss, then and you can improve, then is that loss really a loss if you can actually learn something from that? In my eyes, it's not. What has your biggest trade profited you to date in your trading journey? Honestly, I don't know. See, I'm more of a scalper, so I'm not somebody who's like taking I'm not somebody who's gonna have a big trade, right? It's not really possible for me because I don't take partials. I go for scalps that make sense according to price structure, right? And like this high, I would have took full TP. So I'm just looking for high probability setups. That's not to say maybe eventually I will try to incorporate that maybe into my trading. Like taking partials, taking maybe half off at a certain level and letting the rest run. But typically when I've tried that, it doesn't really work well for me. I end up just getting, you know, stopped out. The rest keep getting stopped out at break even or something. But yeah, I just look for high quality setups and, you know, just take what the market gives me. I don't want to be greedy. People, I think sometimes in the trading community, there's like a false thing of like, oh, you got to catch a 1 to 5 or you got to catch a 1 to 10 or, you know, without realizing that small profits add up over time. If you have a good quality setup and you can catch like high probability setups, those smaller 1-to-1 risk to reward, that adds up over time. And it ends up being pretty good, especially you can scale that with having 7 accounts or 10 accounts copy traded across them. That becomes thousands of dollars per trade, even though you're trading a 1-to-1 risk to reward. Oh yeah, risk management is the biggest part of day trading. It is absolutely the biggest part of day trading. Without risk management, I don't care if you have a 99% win rate. It does not matter. Without risk management, it completely goes, everything goes out the window without risk management. Right? You can have 20, you can have a whole month. You can have 30 profitable days. And then all it takes is 1 day of horrible risk management for you to give away everything and blow your account. It's literally that easy. So anyways, is your 1 minute time frame cooking up a setup yet? To be honest with you, doesn't look like it. I don't think so. This was the only setup really so far. I personally think we're just gonna keep pushing up, right? Because my setup is pushing back into the range. I think this thing is just gonna keep going up at this point. It's above the range, and I don't think it's gonna really give me another setup. And obviously, like, I'm not gonna buy up here. It's just you're buying at premium, and then this thing is gonna end up pulling back and stopping you out for. So buying up here is not the smartest idea either. So, but yeah, I'm probably gonna give it like 15 more minutes. If nothing I'm gonna be hopping off probably in like 15 minutes. Too much market news? Man, there's a lot of stuff going on right now in America. It's crazy. I don't know if it's affecting price action, but that's fact. I lost 5K in one day trying to revenge trade. Listen, that's something that's something that, like, I feel every trader goes through. I've gone through that. Trust me when I say that. I literally had when I was doing options, I had a time where I had 2 weeks of profits. 2 weeks of profiting every single day. Every day was a winning trade. And then I got too cocky, and I ended up giving everything back in one trade because I canceled my stop order and I was hoping it went up. That one trade, after that, I became more disciplined. Like, sometimes, you know, you have to get smacked around by the market to realize that, you know, you can't make the market do anything. You just have to trade the market, have a risk management, have a stop loss, and don't move that stop loss. Just because price is coming toward your stop loss, do not move it. Let it hit that stop loss. There's always going to be another trade. Like, it's not worth blowing your account or giving everything away for one trade. People act like this is the trade that is going to make the difference in their lives. Like, bro, the market's opening up tomorrow. Like, not tomorrow because it's Saturday, but the market opens up Monday through Friday every single day. So what is the point of trying to revenge trade? This is a long-term game, not something, you know, not a short-term game. And understand in your head, if you can be profitable with $50 and you can have a strategy where you can make $50, you can prove to yourself, right, that you're profitable. The difference between you making $50 a day and you making $5,000 a day is just more accounts, bigger position size, and that comes with time, right? So you got to focus on skill and focus on strategy and all that. And then profits come. Weekends are the best to study what happens for the week. Yeah. Weekends are good. I mean, I used to study a lot, like back testing and this and that. Like, bro, I'm not even lying to you. I've stared at charts for so long before that my head started to hurt. Like, I remember back testing, and I would do manual back testing for certain. I would just like sit there and stare at charts and kind of stare, and I would just, it'd be like 2 a.m. in the morning, my head's hurting, and I'm just staring at the chart. But eventually, you know, you kind of, over time, and you may go through, like, for example, me, I went through strategies, right? I tried trendline trading. Didn't really work for me. I moved to another strategy. Didn't really work for me. It's working for other people, it seems like, but for me, it just wasn't working well. And then finally, like, right, I kind of found another strategy, and wow, this strategy's actually working. And you kind of find your strategy, and you like it, and then you just continue trading it. But you may go through strategies. It's part of learning how to trade. And then once you become experienced, right, you have your own strategy that you're fine-tuning. And then eventually you can have more strategies. When you become more experienced, you have different strategies that you see in the market. And then you have multiple accounts for different strategies. So, but yeah, I don't think you should trade. I think for every account or group of accounts, right? Say you have 10 accounts. You can have 5 accounts for this strategy and you can have 5 accounts for that strategy. But I don't think it's a good idea to intermingle different strategies because it messes up your data. Like, it's kind of all over the place. But if you have a group of accounts for this strategy and a group of accounts for this strategy, it's very organized. And you can see which accounts are doing well, which accounts are doing bad. And algo, please? What do you mean? What do you mean by algo? What's algo? Can you explain your strategy one more time, please? Yeah, I'll explain it. All right. Yeah, before, because I'm gonna be hopping off in like 8 minutes or so, and I'll explain it one last time. Oh, nice. Your TP got hit? Nice. That's good. All right, that's a good way to start your weekend. I love that. When you can, if you can start your weekend on a good note like that, with a amazing trade, it kicks off your weekend so well. But all right, so my strategy, bro. What are you talking about? How many X from here? I don't know what you're talking about. Are you okay? How many X from here, algo? Bruh. I had to stand off the PC, bro. Heart racing. I know how that, bro. I know how that is. All right. So, last time, my strategy, right, is first 5-minute range that opens up. So you mark out the highs and the lows of the first 5-minute range. And pretty much what I look for is for price to close outside of the range like it did down here, right? Price came down, closed outside the range. And then what I look for is for price to push back into that 5-minute range, leaving behind a bullish gap to target the next liquidity point. So as you can see, it gave me a pretty decent risk to reward ratio when it pushed back, and the bullish gap has to be inside that 5-minute range, or at least a majority of the gap has to be, like, there could be a part of the gap outside the range, but a majority of that gap has to be inside that range, if not all of it. So, right, you see this gap start to form, very tiny gap, but boom, foolish gap. Bullish gap forms. I take my entry to target the next body candle highs up here. That was the next target for me. So I was targeting these body candle highs with a stop below the low. And that's pretty much the strategy. You're inside that 5-minute range, and I want to go for that, whatever the next liquidity point is. That kind of takes a little bit of discretion. Like, where do you think price is most likely to go? So obviously for me, entering at this area, price is most likely to go for these body candle highs up here. So pretty much gives me a 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio, which is a pretty high quality setup. And it does go for those highs up there. It ends up going for even up here and even more, but holy crap. But yeah, that's pretty much the strategy I look for every day. Because the idea is, right, if it closes outside this 5-minute range and pushes back in, we typically get a lot of volume traded inside this 5-minute range. So if price can confirm a bullish gap, confirming it wants to continue going up, it rebalances, and then volume steps right back in and pushes to your TP. So, but yeah. Have you done this? No. I've never traded Forex. That's the one market I've never traded is Forex. I've done penny stocks, I've done options, I've done stocks, I've done all that. I have not done Forex. I don't know, I just like futures. I don't see a reason to try something else when if you have something that's working and you like there's plenty of price action in NASDAQ to trade it. Like, you know, there's no reason for me to try to jump to a different pair or market if something works well. Thinking of trying it? I don't know. I heard there's a lot of slippage in Forex. Like, there's a lot of, what is it called? Freaking A, it's slipping my mind. Not slippage necessarily, but, oh my gosh. The difference, what is the difference between the bid and the ask? Spread. There's a big spread in Forex, I heard. So, versus futures, you have a very tight spread, so you can get very good fills. But Forex has a bigger spread, so it's a lot harder to get those better fills, and you get slipped and spread and blah blah blah, and it's like, I just don't see a reason to do it when futures is so well with a tight spread and you can get the good entries. And that's why a lot of people move from Forex. A lot of people are moving from Forex to futures. I do 0 DTE options, but kind of want to try future. I used to do that. I used to trade 0 DTE options. The problem with options is the time decay, right? Especially when you do 0 DTE options and you get stuck in a little bit of sideways action, you can still have a winning trade and not make barely anything, if anything, because of that, what's it called? Time decay. So ever since I went to futures, and especially with prop firms and all that, I never went back to options. There's just a lot of opportunity, especially if you know how to trade. You can really take advantage of prop firms and really start to get crazy payouts. Yeah, spread, commission, gap, slippage, manipulation. That was a big problem with Forex prop firms. So the way futures prop firms are, right? So you have like Tradeovate and you have Rhythmic accounts. They're separate companies from the prop firms. The prop firms have no control over like data, meaning Rhythmic data, Tradeovate. So the prop firms have no way of manipulating price. But with Forex, from what I understand was happening in Forex, is the prop firms were able to manipulate price for traders. And a lot of traders, like, it was a big thing that happened in Forex. And that's why a lot of people from Forex ended up going to futures. Futures is just a lot safer than Forex. Forex is very, you know, it's not really... I think it's regulated, but the prop firm industry, it was pretty bad. Yeah. So, but same thing with futures. You got to be careful with futures prop firms. You just want to go with popular prop firms that are proven to pay out. You don't want to go with no-name prop firms and then end up passing evaluations, getting funded, getting to your profit target, requesting a withdrawal just to get denied. So that's why you kind of want to go with popular prop firms like Apex, Take Profit, Tradeify. They're popular prop firms that have been proven to pay people out. But yeah, I am still on September. I think I typically get a notification to switch to a different month contract. To a different, different month, different contract, but I'll probably get the notification. What is it? It's like, it expires probably, I think, next week. So I think Monday I'm going to switch to the next contract. I typically wait for volume. You see, volume is kind of starting to die down on these contracts a little bit, but I think Monday is going to be the day for me where I switch. But it typically notifies me. It'll say, like, I'll log on to Ninja Trader, and it'll give me a notification to roll over to the next contracts. Ninja switched you, Art? Really? Oh, crap. I wonder if maybe the notification somehow turned off. I'll check on Monday if I'll have to switch manually if it doesn't tell me. We still got some we still got some decent volume on these contracts, so it was still pretty good today. I think Monday is gonna be really slow. You know what's hilarious? It's funny when some for new traders, they don't know to switch, and you get those like, bro, why is there no like, why can't I take trades? It's like, bro, because nobody's trading on that contract anymore. But yeah, I'll just switch Monday. Appreciate the follow, thank you. Uh-oh, this looks like it's starting. May want to start the reverse here. Starting to get a little bit like a structure form. Now it's breaking it. But yeah, I would not want to short this. What time is it? Yeah, I'm about to look at that dump. Oh my goodness. But yeah, so I'm gonna be yeah, I'm gonna be getting off here. I don't see a trade happening anytime soon, so look at that dump. Oh my goodness. Yeah, like a lot of people are seeing this drop and probably jumping into a short. It's like, just because it's pulling back like that does not mean it's just gonna continue dumping. Like, this could be just pulling back and then it ends up just ripping to the highs. So far, I mean, it's not really confirmed that it wants to go lower. Could it? Of course, but that's the most important thing. You just have to have a strategy. If it's your strategy, take the trade. If it's not your strategy, don't take the trade. Simple as that. Or if you're looking to buy it, right? Some people are wait for it to come to you for a potential for a potential long opportunity. Right? Kind of pulls back. It gives you a good buying opportunity to continue pushing up. But yeah, that's that. I'm gonna be hopping off here. I will be back Monday. So, not a bad week of trading, honestly. Not a bad week. It's been kind of a break-even week. I got one losing trade this week and a lot of trades that just worked out but didn't give me the entry I wanted. So it would have been a better week if the trades actually ended up not just going straight for the highs, but ended up giving me the entry I wanted. But it is okay. We'll come back Monday, and hopefully Monday's price action, you know, gives me better entries. But yeah, y'all have a wonderful weekend. Don't overtrade. Protect your profits. And yeah, I'll see you guys Monday. Did you take a trade? Yeah, I took one trade in the morning. It almost hit my TP, like one tick away from my TP, and ended up stopping me out at break even because of news. So, sucks, but the trade ended up still working out. I just got stopped out at break even. But yeah, I'll see you guys Monday. Peace out.